Hey, Builders Lounge here. Ready
Welcome.
for episode?
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
are you ready? Halo, are you ready?
Yes,
I'm
we are.
extremely ready. I'm caffeinated. I have a lot of caffeine going through my veins right now, and I can't wait to talk about perps today.
There you go.
Yes, because today is going to be perps heavy. Perps heavy. We got two amazing guests. And let me introduce BM, Business Manager, because he's basically my best friend in crypto. We've been knowing each other forever. And I can say I'm proud to have him here on stage as one of the few people that has never rocked in their entire life and is still building, just like Builders Lounge. We've passed episode 100 and we haven't rocked yet. So that's something that we're super aligned on. We also have Liam for Rekt from Rekt Finance. That's so exciting. Liam, what's the vibe today for you?
The vibes are good. The vibes are good. We've got it's been a big week for us. I just got 500x leverage, got new mini games, new leaderboards, lots cooking on our end. So it's been a good week.
And what X leverage? Can you repeat that number slowly so I can make sure I understood properly?
500.
Five.
We're giving all the leverage away, man. We're just giving away like Oprah.
That's so exciting. Amazing. And what's the vibe with you, BM?
Yeah, I'm just charging my seeker to try the 5x leverage, 500x leverage, because it's one of the best thing that you can have in crypto. When you trade 500x, that's your dreams come true. So
This is
There's a
okay.
fine line. There's a fine
Is
line
it?
between casinos and 500x leverage.
yeah,
So
I think casinos they do 1000x leverage. So like Sol Casino, I think last time I checked they did like 1000x. So 500x is a borderline, probably. But yeah, it's super fun.
I can sense this is going to be a huge advert episode for Perps because Perps are one of the best things Solana has to offer. Honestly, it's something that makes the Solana tech really shine, and this is why this is going to be a great episode. So, okay, let's start with those questions. Let's warm up with a few questions about the people behind the projects, and so, BM, you have a long and rich history in Solana, and we probably would need about a dozen episodes to cover it fully. So maybe you want to kind of focus on what got you going before perps.so was perps.so was some kind of fuzzy idea in your head, and then what happened exactly.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Maltese. Yeah, as Maltese mentioned, like we've been friends for a long time, and I think like our first kind of offline meetup happened 2023 Breakpoint Amsterdam, but we were know each other like since 2021. When I came to Solana, I started to explore, and I've built my first protocol, which was NFT lending, which was merged to banks, Rekt, in 2022. And then I've been building since then, but I guess my main driver was that I never actually got the SMB that I wanted in 2021 because it was too expensive. So I was staying on Solana, waiting for the day that I can get the SMB and set it up on my PFP. So that was my main driver to keep building on Solana and getting to wait like when the SMB prices will drop down. So now I'm a proud owner of their like Skeleton SMB, which I wanted for a long time. And I think I've been like wearing this PFP for maybe like two years now, or even more. Yeah, so my second project I did was 2023, straight after the Breakpoint Amsterdam. We've kind of started with the GLP multiply. We've been pushing restaking with Salaire, and then it slowly shifted through the stages of the B2C to the infra. And now, like one of the things that I run is validator on Solana. We also do the tip router for Jita. I also run the NCN for Solana governance, which will introduce staker override soon. So everyone who stakes Solana will be able to vote, not only the validators. And yeah, there's been a lot of good things happening on Solana, coming Alpenglow and block times and everything. Like the whole infrastructure is building up to this moment where we can use them for the perps. And then that's the great thing about Solana, right? That we are so aligned from the builder side and the infrastructure side to come to this point where all about perps, and everything from the maker to the users, right, will be able to kind of run this fast and fast execution and really like great on the UX side. And I think like we will, like after the Alpenglow launch, we will see a massive increase and utilization of the perps on Solana. And yeah, the crazy story is with the Perp.so that I built. This has happened like within one morning. I woke up around like, let's say 7 a.m. I got my coffee brewed. I've checked the Twitter and I saw that Vibu started a trading kind of competition, or like duel against Juice. And I've quickly checked the Twitter and socials, and no one actually did the dashboard for this to track, or even like there was like nothing yet available for this. And I'm like, okay, I have to be the first one and I have to do it really well. So that's I kind of brew the coffee, then I spent maybe 1 hour making the like vibe coding thing and like making the dashboard. And then within like by 8 a.m. I made a tweet with the first link, and then it went viral. I think like the total views through the week after I made this dashboard, like I got maybe like 500,000 on my personal X, which was like crazy numbers for my engagement, right? And yeah, so since then I did run the first dashboard, Juice versus Vibu. It got a lot of fun. People start tracking this, and then we created another competition after that, which was 25K total prize pool. We ran it with Matthew from Solana Foundation versus Fefe, which is like an amazing trader. And we did run it for 1 week. We had other people joining and competing. I think we had like over like 100 people competing for the prizes, and like literally it was super fun and everyone enjoyed this. So yeah, Perp.so kind of started as a one coffee vibe coding dashboard into something big where people actually kind of enjoyed the show, enjoyed the fun, and even like some feedback that I got in my DMs that some people, this is the first time they had fun after the meme coins era, right? So this is like the first time they enjoyed the show and they enjoyed the trading and everything. So that was the good thing. Yeah, that's 5 or like 4 minutes of intro about myself.
That's exactly what I was thinking, you know, that you really did bring back the fun. And also you've been exploring, I think, something that is very important for Solana is that boundary between cutting edge tech and entertainment. Because after all, I think entertainment is still undervalued on Solana. And even when you have like in the face of blatant success, like BM just told us in his story, people still don't understand this on Solana we're doing is mostly entertainment with a very, very strong technology base that is a moat, the way I see it. But Liam, so basically you're one of the reasons it still makes sense to own a Seeker. It's, you know, one of those things that you know, what does it do? And, you know, well, Rekt. So, but tell us how you got here. You know, how did you go from idea to one of the few things you can actually do with a Seeker, and that is extremely cool?
Yeah. So maybe as a quick intro on just my general background, I've been building kind of like all across crypto for context since 2017, 2018, from running blockchain at Berkeley back in the day to working on stable coins at PayPal, and launching PYUSD on Solana, to working in the Cosmos ecosystem for a while. I then took a break for like culinary school, and got yelled at by French chefs for like 6 to 9 months. And most recently, I was at a venture studio called Anagram. And at Anagram, I really had this mandate of, all right, we're building lots of really cool product experiments all day, every day. But we weren't taking those to market. They were just kind of like being shelved up on GitHub and blog posts. And so we really kind of had a mandate of like, all right, how do we take a lot of these cool product experiments and actually like bring them to users at the end of the day, and like take them from just like a feature to like an actual product and a business behind it. And so I was working on that kind of the last 2 years. And one of the projects I started working on was this idea of Rekt, of, okay, how do we create more of a game around, trading? And I think you guys said it best of like, we need more entertainment on Solana. There's lots of great DeFi opportunities everywhere you look in crypto, but there's not a lot of entertainment. There's not a lot of gaming. There's not a lot of, other types of content that are actually like valuable and useful. The financial industry is only one industry. Like there's so much money unlocked in entertainment and gaming and otherwise. And so we want to kind of like try and combine, build something for multiple industries of, all right, how do we build something that's backed by DeFi? That way people have money at stake. It's interesting. They have a piece of skin in the game, but still create games that are like fun and competitive with friends. But I think that's one of the cool things about, how Perp.so has evolved over the last couple months from BM, of just like, okay, it started with just a dashboard, but then it's like, all right, there's this opportunity of like, okay, how do people actually like trade against each other and involve more people than just the famous people in these trading competitions? And so we really kind of leaned in more to like creating like mini games. So the mini game we just released yesterday on Rekt is called Minute to Win It. It's a 60-second countdown where you basically pick, okay, is the price going to go up or down in the next 60 seconds? You bet that it's going to go up. You throw your $10 in, and then we lock your $10 in for 60 seconds, and you can't close it out early, but you can extend it. The only way that you can extend it, though, is by putting another $10 in. And so it creates a fun, interesting game of like, okay, do you think the price is going to go up in the next minute as well? If so, you may want to double down now. If not, then you just want to let it run for that 60 seconds, right? So creating these like short composable games, opportunities for high asymmetric upside for users, but also kind of quick outcomes rather than having to wait days, weeks, or months in order for your trade to play out.
Okay, so that's super interesting, and I like the way this episode is really shaping up as a exploration of entertainment and tech, going hand in hand, and with two people that amazingly have seen how important this is and are actually acting on it with amazing products.
Well, and I think one thing that's tough, like the entertainment. Sorry to cut you off there. One thing that's tough about entertainment is like for so many years, people have been trying to build like crypto gaming use cases, and everybody knows in Solana, right? Like Lily has been very vocal about like crypto gaming is dead and like never should have existed in the first place. But like I always just think back to something one of my colleagues at Anagram, JJ, used to always say, which is like, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. And I think a lot of crypto games weren't built with proper incentives, but crypto is all about building those like core incentive loops, and DeFi really empowers that. And so I think what's cool about this like next wave of narrative is like, okay, how do we take like the fun and pleasure of entertainment and gaming, but combine it with like the incentive loops and upside of DeFi?
Absolutely, 100%. And also, the gaming space is different from the finance space in that you have a lot more experimentation, and you need to roll around a lot more to find the right formula. And if you look at kind of entertainment in all its forms, like board games, video games, TV programs, there is a rich history of failed experiments because it's so hard to nail it, and it's not something that you can rationalize away. Whereas in DeFi, it's not, I'm not saying it's easy, but like the goals are pretty clear.
Yeah.
Like you can see the destination, but the entertainment isn't the destination, it's the journey. So how do you make that journey, how do you make that journey pleasurable? You know, how do you want to just keep traveling, because destination is become less important than actually enjoying the journey. And that's the super hard part that is actually, I think, completely interlocked with our crypto dream of, you know, crypto to the masses. That's where it goes by, you know, it goes by that entertainment.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the way with Rekt, you know. I've just closed my trade and I can show you the picture. You see, I've made 91%.
There we go.
Yeah, so this is the fun, you know. This is the fun.
Just making money as we talk, man.
Yep, I'm just making the post out that I actually printed some money. That's really fun part about it.
I saw him breathing pretty fast. That's why I was doing that, probably, because he was like, "Oh, am I gonna get liquidated, or is it gonna hit it in the next minute? By the time they finish the talk, am I gonna be able to win this?"
Yes. So next time we're gonna add a polygraph to all our guests so that we know if they're also perp trading during the episode.
It's gonna be perp trading with my brain, you know, just connect my brain to the app, and then I don't even need to distract myself from this conversation.
But there's something that's, I think, a little bit of a niche topic, but I think we have the right people on stage here. But so BM, you know, he was also the founder of one of the strongest and long-lasting communities, you know, in the NFT era, that actually went on for a long time, even after he left. And if you've been around long enough in crypto, you're going to bump into someone that says, you know, it's all cool, the new tech, but I miss those NFT days. You know, there was that kind of, you know, those fragmented communities that people jumped in and out of, that had their own specific vibe and so on. And I feel now, you know, with the kind of higher quality entertainment that projects like Rekt and Perp.so are bringing to the table, that kind of reality would be more sustainable, you know? Like, on one side, I feel, you know, back in the day, if we could have built communities around stuff that actually worked and was fun and that could have, you know, created some engagement, some competition, and so on, and something to talk about, after all, it would have gone better. And so then, how likely is it, and is it kind of in the product's DNA to kind of bring back those times to form your own community, but also seed other communities, help them grow with entertaining products? Go for it, BM.
All right.
Don't pretend the question wasn't for you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just trying to think like what's the best response here. I guess like the main thing is community is the core of everything. Even if you have a regular business, offline business, your customers is your community, right? So that's where they share the feedback, and they can either kill your business or make your business really successful, right? So, and in a similar way, Web3 communities emerged, where I guess NFTs are not in a similar way like the businesses, right? It's more like a community where people share share some value and help each other, and maybe even like make some money together, right? As we had in the previous days, right? I guess right now maybe it's more like it's a sense of family or unity where you have some presence online and you have someone to support you and help you, even without others knowing your real name or real face. You know, they just see your personality, and they're happy to engage with you. And that's the cool part about NFTs. And I like on Solana specifically, since 2021, we have so many people which have stayed and never left, and they are part of those NFT communities, and they're still here and still kind of pushing out and helping each other and like enjoying the market when something big comes out, right? So I guess it's like personally for me, when I had like a lot of friends which I've never met, and like my first breakpoints were something really surprising, because when you meet a person and you see how he looks, you would never imagine that this person is like behind the PFP, right? So that's kind of a cool thing, that when you start building your relationship with the person without even knowing like his face or like how he looks, right? That's a crazy thing to think of. That's a digital friendship, right? But yeah, coming back to the business side, I guess communities have moved on from NFTs now into the projects, right? So we, for each project on Solana, we have a strong community, right, supporting it, and users, and they're sharing their feedback, and that's kind of your, I guess, with the way that it's becoming so easy to distribute and become a product. Community is actually your product, right? So whenever you grow and whenever you kind of make your first step within the like getting your name out and getting your company name out, community is what will structure your first moves, right? When you're gonna release the product, you're gonna get the feedback, you're gonna work with this community and gonna try to get more people in, and those community will actually kind of support you and help you grow together. So yeah, community is important, and your users are important, and I guess this is like kind of the it comes together, right? The community and your users. If that was your question, I guess.
I didn't even know it was a question.
Yeah.
But it was super interesting to listen to you, because you know, you're one of the people who actually went through it all and can give some actual, you know, perspective. And I'm also looking forward to Liam's take on this, because I feel I can see, you know, behind that fuzzy colored shirt, there is the mind of a community engineer that is baking in the community inside his product. So tell us all about it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, community always comes first. To you know, BM said it best of just like, you know, every product that you're building at the end of the day is for the community, right? Like that is your target audience, and that is the people that you need to listen to feedback to. But it's also really hard, you know, because it's like I don't know when or if BM ever sleeps. I'm convinced that he's just like a vampire and doesn't sleep. But like engaging with the community all the time is just like so time consuming. And I think that's one of the hardest parts as a builder is like managing, you know, spending the time talking with the community members and building. But I will say every minute that I spend talking with the community, like I never have any regrets with that time, because it's just such valuable feedback. You know, the people who choose to reach out, continue to invest time in your app even after they've experienced bugs, the people who reach out with new feature requests or ideas. Somebody, you know, was reaching out the other day about, you know, more like social trading clans. And I mentioned I hadn't seen like a great implementation of that, you know, for like a long running product. And we went back and forth for like an hour of him just sharing different apps that he's tried and like what he liked, what he didn't like about them. And it was like, man, like an hour of my time, like I got to learn, you know, the equivalent of like 12 hours of doing market research, you know, trying all these apps myself. And so it's definitely, you know, always the number one thing that we try and spend our time on is like, okay, how do we engage our community? How do we talk to them? You know, how do we make ourselves accessible to them? Because at the end of the day, like, it's not just about like getting users on board, but like, I think the real trick is when you can create an organic community where people just feel like they are a part of something, of like, even if they don't trade every single day on Rekt, right? Like we just want them to be a part of that community and add energy to it. And so that's definitely where we're shifting a lot of our attention now that we kind of have our MVP out there.
Great. And Halo, what would you like to add to this? Because I know, you know, you've been kind of in that mode for a long time. And what is the evolution of community now that the tech has more interesting stuff to offer.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, since I've been in like around for a while now as well, and mostly like from the community side, been to events, and what I want to say is basically, especially within Solana, I think I want to touch back on the NFTs part because I think it like the real communities got built by NFTs, and then people that got out of like met with each other in those groups became like I want to say 50% of them maybe just like built their own project, and those small groups basically started to just support people that got out of their own ecosystem, and it created this like beautiful kind of like circular motion that like helped to put the groundwork back in like I want to say 2021 2022, and then like now in the last year or two we're like seeing these with like Colosseum hackathons and like multiple things that's like building on simultaneously on perp side, on RWA now that's like picking up as well. And what I've saw, the ones that mostly stick is from our perspective to like on Carbim as well, is like founders or like the upper section of the, let's say the company or the project is being like so touched with the community, with the users. Like if a founder is using their own product, it doesn't have to be every day, but you gotta be using your product. Like that's like a full stop there. Like otherwise, how are you gonna relate to the user? Like when I open your app, if I see, I don't know, let's say I need to put a code, but you're not even on beta, like you're full out, but you're gatekeeping. But then when you look at from a fresh user perspective, it's just another step. Like if you don't go through those processes with fresh eyes as a founder, you're not going to be able to see like the problems. And once that community member comes to you and say, oh, like this is a problem, you're not going to like view it as a problem, you know? You got to be using your product. You got to be tied with your community as much as you can. Like it doesn't have to be like answering tickets, but you should be from time to time, see some stuff. Because at the end of the day, that's how you became to that position, and that's how you can like make that foundation strong, honestly. Like those are the people that's gonna basically go out and kind of like root for you, support you on Twitter, or even in real life sometimes. Like I've seen those multiple times at events. Like I went to like bunch of events, and like I met our users, and they were like, oh, like I had this experience, you were in the ticket. Like I'm not even the founder, but it's the same goes for our founders, and I'm pretty sure for Liam and BM as well. It's the same experience.
Absolutely. And also talking about dog fooding, and using your own product, the history of Web 2, 3, 4, and forever is littered with projects that actually started like, okay, we have identified this target audience and we're going to make an app for these people. And so they start building the app, but they are not those people. But while they're building it, they need some other tool, and they make that tool so good that becomes actually the focus. And this, for instance, is the story of Slack. I mean, Slack was a team building some other weird thing, and then they built Slack from themselves. And that's what they used enough to make it good enough to make it an actual product that everybody uses. But go, Liam.
Did you guys see that discussion on Twitter? I think it was just earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, of that founder that was talking about how, like, he is not a user of his product, and that's why he makes himself. That's why like he's the best founder for his business. I think he was building like a trading app, and he was just talking about like how like he's not a trader, and so that's why he's going to build the best trading app, because like he has a more objective perspective. And like I think he just got so much hate on the timeline because it goes against everything that you guys are talking about, which I agree with, which is like
yeah,
like if
I think I see what you mean. I think I caught a couple of those. It was just so amazing. The way he was so convinced of his kind of obviously wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like if you like love cooking, let's say like you love making burgers, right? How can you like if you, like let's say someone else who never cooked a burger, like don't even know like how proper burger should taste. How can he make a like proper burger that people will like, right? That's
no. But the thing is, what he did, he inflated, because there is one argument. There is one argument that you can make, but he like inflated it completely overboard. The argument you can make is, let's bring some fresh eyes, okay?
Yeah.
Or coaches don't play.
Let's bring some fresh eyes, because people have been used to this thing and they just kind of boxed into their own ideas, while I come from, you know, a different story. I look at this thing and I see different ideas, different ways, but that's not how you then make a product. That's maybe an inspirational part you can have sometime along the way, every now and again. It's not the CEO, the guy that doesn't use his product and keeps this fresh eye all the time, while other people are grinding on this up that doesn't work, but he doesn't even realize because he doesn't use it.
Yep. Exactly. No, it just kind of blew my mind. I mean, like going back to like BM's example, like I don't know, in culinary school we learned, okay, you have to taste all the food that you're cooking as you're cooking it, because if you serve something that you don't taste, then you have no idea if it's going to be good, right? Like I think that analogy absolutely plays true to like building products too, of like, okay, if you're not the ideal target customer, then how do you know exactly what the ideal customer is going to want? You know, I just, yeah, blew my mind. So anyways, not to distract the conversation, but
no, not at all. I was thinking of a kind of more serious question, of going through your products.
Yep.
And I would like to hear, you know, from the founder's voice, the way you feel your product relates to, let's call it B2B, B2C kind of, you know, retail and companies, whatever you want to call it. Like, so I'm BM, I have Perp.so, I want to offer this to people. I want people to be able to, you know, enjoy these certain features, but also if you're a project, a company, or some KOL, and you see value in my product, what can I offer to them to, you know, like for instance, create a competition for them or something like that. So give us a quick rundown of what kind of demand your product fills on these two sides of the mountain.
Yeah, I guess like if we cover Perp.so, the whole like demand is all about the entertainment, right? So that's the whole point of like attention and entertainment around Perps on Solana. If like what was that the way that you were thinking, right, Maltese?
Yes, and I was kind of interested in knowing kind of more on the practical side. If I, for instance, I own an exchange and I want to get some of that attention and entertainment on Solana, and I see Perp.so as a venue that can bring me that value, what kind of things could I do for someone who doesn't know the product, you know?
All right. Yeah, so I can start with the first main thing, that I have the engine to track all of the trades, on-chain trades that's happening on Solana. So based on those on-chain trades, we can build any solution that you require, right? So if it's, let's say, paper trading, or if you want to have any kind of competition between people, or let's say copy trading, or anything, like any custom integration, it's possible to be executed, because I have this tool that tracks all the trades. I have the history of the trades already being stored. So I basically have all the on-chain information about perps happening on Solana. And many companies and many like Solana companies have already reached out to me. So we'll launch a few campaigns in the foreseen future, which will be super fun. And that's kind of the reason that they will utilize the infrastructure that I've already kind of built out, and that will be super fun.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I wasn't expecting that, but yes, it makes a lot of sense, because when you build something of so, you know, in a modular way with those kind of quality standards, then other people are going to want to use it 100%. But same question to you, Liam. On both sides of the mountain, if you want to engage with, let's say, retail, the man on the street, the average Joe, the Solana manlet, the end user, what is already happening now and what do you have in store? And do you, or are you thinking, or do you already have some kind of offering that allows other companies to engage with your technology and with your users, and whatever you have in store there? If you have anything, I'm also interested.
Yeah, no. So as you guys know, we're fully mobile first, right? Like the way that we see it is Rekt is for those in between life moments, those moments of like you're on your way to work, you're sitting in the subway, you're waiting for your food to be ready, right? And you want a little bit of thrill, you want a little bit of entertainment to fill that gap. So that's and you always have your phone on you, right? And another reason why we're mobile first for our consumers is because that's where people are most social. Right. If somebody says, hey, call up BM, the first thing I'm going to go to is my phone, pull up Telegram and give them a call. Right. Anytime that I'm checking social media, right, it's on my phone. Everything I do on my phone is social inherently. And so as we're building a social app, right, we really want to lean into that. So that's really kind of like our focus for consumers. We'll explore web apps and everything else like that, later on. But in terms of like businesses, we aren't building like a B2B business necessarily, but we are very interested in building on top of other protocols and primitives. And so at the end of the day, like we are focusing on like aggregating these experiences and building these unique experiences on top of existing DeFi. And so we work with a lot of really great partners, from Phoenix to Imperial to Flash Trade and Magic Block, and many others out there. And we're currently like evaluating kind of like the next partners to integrate. Because really the goal is, okay, we take these existing DeFi primitives that already exist, already have TVL, already have liquidity, right? The cold start problem is out of the equation then, or at least it simplifies it. But then we're building these unique experiences or these unique games on top, so that people can interact with those protocols in entirely new ways. And so if you're a protocol founder out there, you're building something cool and you have an idea for how somebody can use it in a different way or how we can build on top of it, we'd definitely love to chat with you and figure out how we can integrate.
That's so interesting. That's super interesting. And also, composability. Yeah. The buzzword that people were kind of slinging, have been seeing for a few years, is actually happening, and these things. So, I would imagine there is vast opportunity there for integration, even between Perp.so and Rekt. Why not? You could totally do that because both of you have composable technology. So, I'm just off the top of my head, if you wanted to start a Rekt copy trading competition, you could lean on BM's technology for that aggregation that he was mentioning earlier, and vice versa. BM could bring Perp.so to the masses through the Rekt, tech and distribution, and that's totally good. You could totally agree, like now and then make it happen, because this is the state of the Solana tech.
Totally agreed. Yeah, and that's why, like, when BM did this last competition, like as soon as I saw it live, I gave him a call because we were launching it literally like the next week, if I remember correctly. And so unfortunately the timing just like did not work out because we were just like we're a week late to the party, so to speak. But it's really cool kind of what BM has built, and definitely, want to do more trading competitions for Rekt users through Perp.so.
Yeah, and from my side, Rekt is one of the best perp experience app that you have to use on Solana. So there is no other app that you need to use. Just use Rekt, and you will have the best experience trading.
I appreciate that, man, and it's only going to get better from here. I promise. Yeah. I've literally been up all night, like the last 2 nights, working with our partners to make everything faster, more reliable, more consistent, everything. So it's all full steam ahead.
Now, I think we're at that time of the episode, Halo, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're at the time of the episode where we start pushing for some kind of some real alpha, some NDA, something that will put you in trouble with your co-founders, something that you promised that you would never reveal, definitely not in this stream anyway, blah, blah, blah. And then it pops out like that. What are you cooking? What are you cooking that nobody knows yet, Liam?
Oh man, it's a good question. The only reason it's a hard question to answer is because there's so many things in parallel that we're building right now. But I think the big thing that we're like, gearing up for, and we don't really talk about this a lot, but like, as I mentioned, we're building on top of existing protocols, we're building on top of existing primitives, today, and working with partners. But really the goal, for us is to build more of our own primitives as well, that really start to kind of like, open up the use cases for more gamified finance. And so that's probably like the biggest thing that I can't share too much about right now. But we've been we've had a lot of conversation for the last few months on it, but like the last week or two, we've really started like tangibly talking about what that next primitive is going to be. And yeah, I'm excited to tease out more perhaps on the next Builder Lounge. But for now, that's all I can say.
Okay, but let me ask you just one more question about this. Do you feel this thing that you have kind of finally focused on, and is the next big thing? Do you see it as something that exists in a boring or inefficient way and that you're going to kind of overhaul, or do you see it as something that didn't exist before on Solana?
Yeah, so as we're considering, it's a really good question actually. As we're considering our options, we're kind of considering options for both. Of like the dilemma, the biggest question that we ask ourselves when we're thinking about integrating a venue or building our own primitive or otherwise is, how does this unlock like net new unique functionality for our users? If it's just adding more liquidity, more depth, more whatever, right? Like users don't really feel that in the same way. Right? Like we want like these announcements to be big. We want the changes to feel big for users. So the way that we're kind of thinking about is either one, being able to build an existing primitive, but in a way that's like custom for our users, so that we can do more exotic things with it, whether that's listing more assets on it, or doing like short-term markets or higher-term leverage, or kind of like the other side of it is like going a little bit more like into like the blue unknown of tap trading, and building like net new experiences completely from scratch. Obviously, they both have their trade-offs with timelines and everything else, and so that's one of the biggest things. Going back to our conversation about communities, that we're talking to a lot of our community members of like, okay, we've got these ideas, we're specking out diagrams of like what some of these experiences might look like, and just putting in front of users and like, okay, is any of this of interest to you? And sometimes they're like, and other times they're like, oh, this would be really cool, so still very much like in the exploratory phase, but working closely with the community to figure out exactly what that next primitive is going to be.
Yeah, that's what you said. I think is super interesting, because that's something that I think something undervalued that Web3 has brought to the table, is that in many other even smallish companies, this process you just mentioned would require doing some sort of boring phone interviews via a third party provider that contacts your customers, blah blah blah, and it's not really going to work. But in Web3, you actually reach out to the people, and you have that super valuable information at hand, in real time. Mm-hmm. But it's a blessing and a curse, because on one side you have this fresh, okay, I have this idea, let's see what they think, let's maybe even show them something. But at the same time, it's hard, when someone gives you some sort of feedback,
Mm-hmm.
is it a feedback about that idea, or is it a feedback about not really having understood your idea, or having had a good or a bad day, or liking you personally or not? Or, there are so many things, and it's super hard to really feel validated, in one-to-one conversations.
Yeah.
So is this something you talk about in the company from time to time?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that so we're a small team. We've got 3 full-time people and then 2 part-time people. And on the full-time side, it's all engineers, the 3 of us. And my colleague Tim leads all of our front-end development stuff. Has done an absolutely killer job with it. And me and him will have a lot of these customer conversations and sit down with these users, just because he's building the UI, he's building that experience every day and wants to be a part of that too, which I always love. But one thing that also, like me and him talk about a lot is we get a lot of conflicting feedback. We'll show one thing to a user and he'll say he loves it, and then somebody else will tell me that he hates it. And so, something that like me and him are both, pretty mindful of is like, okay, a lot of feedback is, very solution based of, hey, you should build this because I want to do X, Y, Z. And we try and go back to like, what is that XYZ of what they want to do, and start kind of the exploration from that. I think a lot of users have an idea of what the solution is to solve their problems. Maybe it's not the right solution to solve their problems. And so instead for us, like, we try and focus on what are those problems that they're having, and then find the best solution for them that way. But it's hard. It's a lot of conversations, right? Like, one thing that we were doing before we released Rekt to Seeker, which I was very glad we did it, was every single user that we onboarded, we required a phone call with them. So no user was allowed to onboard to Rekt without jumping on a call with us. And we would be on the call, we would give them the link to download it, and then they would go through, and we would just sit there in silence for like 15-20 minutes, just watching what they do, hearing their frustrations, seeing what they like, seeing what buttons they're tapping more often than not. And it gave us like so much like valuable insights, because users are actually just like telling us a stream of consciousness of what's working and what's not working, rather than giving the app and then expecting them to sit down for a half hour and like type up feedback on everything, because you just lose so much feedback in that process. And it was funny too, because like it took a bunch of time, we got a lot of valuable insights out of it. But one of the teams that we onboarded explicitly told us, they're like, we've been working in crypto, for like 3, 4, 5 years, and we've never had a crypto team jump on a call and do like a live onboarding with us. And they also found it very valuable to us because, they were looking to try and get us to integrate part of their service. And so they were also giving us tips as they were going through of like, oh, like we could really help with this, or, oh, we've really seen great things with this. And they're like a really like trading native team. And so as they're all going through it, they're like, oh, we really love what the Liquid app did here, or we really love what Dreamcash did here, or what FOMO did here. And those kinds of like more organic conversations where it's more just like, it feels, like an actual discussion rather than just like an interview, I think was one of the most valuable things that we did kind of pre-launch, to get that feedback in.
Absolutely, and I think this is one of the most valuable answers we got on the Builders Lounge.
Yeah.
This is going to be, this is going to be clipped and retweeted forever, as a really like kind of a manual for any future Solana founder. Get on the bloody phone and talk to your users real time. Record the stream of consciousness. Don't give them some stupid questionnaire. Record the stream of consciousness. That's how you get the real feedback. And it's also, I love what you said before, which kind of matches my experience. People often, when solicited feedback, people talk in terms of solutions.
Mm-hmm.
Like their mind identifies the problem and outputs a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell you should do this, but this doesn't really tell you why they wanted this. So then you have to do that job of kind of working back working your way back to, why this guy thought of adding this feature. What did he really want? And it's kind of a bit of a Dr. House situation there, but you get there eventually. And anyway, super interesting. Thanks for sharing that amazing answer. And now it's time to grill BM and see if he can kind of maybe gets him in trouble with some NDAs that he's already signed, or gets kicked out of a deal because he let go too early live on the Builders Lounge. What are you cooking? You said a lot of teams reached out to integrate your tech. Come on, give us some names. Do some name dropping.
Yeah, first thing I want to say is about Liam with the user experience of getting on the call. I think it's like really great. And I like from multiple sources, I constantly hear that like the hardest part is to get to your first 100 users sign up, right, and make them happy. And I think this is like one of the best way to actually like do the beta launch of your product, to invite the user, make him comfortable with you trying the app, like record his, so even like get on the call with him, right, and get his live reaction of how he's like actually experiencing the app, and see like what can be done to make it more useful and like more like better user experience for him, right, and for others who's going to join them after the 100 users. But yeah, getting those first 100 users happy and getting them in is the hardest part, right, of the start. And then like from my personal experience, whenever you get those like first 100 users, then it's way easier to get to the 1,000 and then to the 10K and etc., right? So yeah, good job, Liam.
Thank you. And I will say thank you for being one of those people who jumped on a call with us to give us bug reports, give us feedback in the early days. Yeah. You're definitely one of the more patient.
Yeah, it's just the small bugs. They are there to be solved, right? So that's exactly. That's a good part of having the call. Exactly. Yeah, coming back to my story with the Perp.so, I guess I couldn't say much, but there's going to be a big thing happening with Perp competition on Solana, which will be as a good way for people to actually trade new assets and engage and enjoy the show. So big things are coming, and I'm happy about this. And also we know that, as I said before, that few teams reached out to me. So we'll see new campaigns coming with Perp.so as an infrastructure, and those teams will be hosting their own competitions, right, based on their own kind of content and kind of execution, while Perp.so will run the dashboards, the like all of the infra that they require, right? So that's the thing that I can share. No names, sadly. And I guess, yeah, if you are the follower and watching the stream, you will find out really soon.
Great. So much looking forward to that. Really exciting stuff on the horizon for both of you. Halo, what have you been thinking along the way? I know you've been cooking some really difficult answer to embarrass a guest right at the end here. So now's the time.
I usually like drop some new topic to throw them off, so they like slip something out. At least that's what happens from time to time. But this time I just wanted to like praise that like call execution. I mean, like getting feedback on a call is, yeah, that's an A-level play right there, I want to say. And every builder that's watching Builders Night, they gotta put their like top one in the list. But I really wanted to ask, so from what I gather for Rekt specifically, which you mentioned like at the beginning of the episode, was you guys wanted to make perps fun.
Yeah.
That's basically the one-liner for it. So okay, perps, that's on the pocket. What else? Is there gonna be anything that you guys are trying to make it fun in this way? Because I'm a perp trader. Yeah. I personally think the app is really fun.
Thank you.
But like I'm looking forward. Like, is there anything like I think you guys can do a couple other more stuff a bit more fun too. So anything you can slip?
Yeah, so I talk about perps a lot because that's just like what we have, really been our bread and butter, these last few months of building Rekt. With that said, we didn't even really start with perps for Rekt originally. It really just started with like, okay, how do we make finance fun and trading fun in general? And then like, if we think about that experience, then how do we work backwards to try and enable that experience? And so we kind of had some criteria in mind of, okay, we want like, short-term experiences because people's attention span is getting shorter and shorter. And we want the opportunity for asymmetric upside of, okay, how do people double their money in 60 seconds or less was essentially like the problem that we had on our plate. But we also importantly did not want to just use like random number generators and like casino like mechanics because then it's just random luck and there's no like skill involved like there is with regular markets. So we started with perps just because it was a great way to be able to enable these things for our users. As we add more and more leverage, we can add more and more upside. And as we add more leverage, then the time window for being able to achieve that upside becomes shorter and shorter as well, which is important. But there's a number of other primitives that we want to integrate as well and build experiences around, including both prediction markets and like options and like short-term options. And so those are probably like the main two other primitives that we're looking at besides perps right now. And we actually have integrated some like prediction market work into Rekt, but we actually put that all on hold just because candidly the stability of the platform wasn't as strong as we wanted it to be in working with that partner. And so, we're waiting to kind of everything to just get a little bit more robust. And I know there's a few other pretty notable prediction markets coming on Solana in the next couple months that we might work with as well. And so, yeah, that's definitely kind of the direction that we want to go in. But we want to make it easy for you to like our goal is to kind of create a new mini game experience every few weeks. And some mini games will be powered by perps, some will be powered by prediction markets, and some will be powered by our own primitive soon.
This was the answer I was waiting, by the way. Like I was like, it's gonna be predictions and probably options, and you hit it both.
Yeah, it really just comes into how do we enable this for users?
Okay, so I'm gonna go on a stretch here, and I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna guess that these new primitives that Rekt is gonna develop into this still kind of deciding on are gonna be around options, because options, the design space is just so wide open. It's so wide open, and the option primitive is so flexible. You can totally apply it to so many different things, even non-financial, just as in terms of an option. So yeah, I'm gonna bet that. I'm gonna put my money on that.
We need a prediction market just for what primitive you guys think is going to come next on.
Exactly, that's what I was gonna say. Exactly, that's yeah. It all comes down to this, which means it's all very exciting. It's been a super exciting episode with two perp heavyweights. Can I say that? Perp heavyweights. One is pushing 500x. The other one is doing the most exciting competition in Solana, and everybody wants to use their tech. So I don't know. I mean, this is going to be so exciting.
I'm stoked for it. I mean, it's just the start of perps on Solana. We've all got a lot more to go, but it's exciting to be part of the early days for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, this has been another incredible episode. I think there are going to be some clips for the ages, because you both really, you dropped some knowledge, some wisdom that people should probably, have on repeat in their earbuds when they wake up in the morning. So that's what I'm going to do on our timeline in the next few days. And but yeah, sadly, it's time to say goodbye at the end of the episode. So I'm gonna leave you to your closing remarks. This is that kind of, panic moment. How can I say something important? So let's start with you, Halo, so that they can have, a little bit more time to think about their closing remarks. What are your closing remarks? I'm even going to put you up on the stage in your main, so your PFP.
Man, I was expecting to go last, so I was go out with a blast. See the
I
rhythm
can
there,
I
but
can
yeah.
be first. I can be first. I have
Are you
everything.
ready? Okay, take the stage,
Okay,
BM.
let's
You
go.
go. You go. Let's go.
Yeah, I did the Berlin pitch about my experience at the summit, like Super Team Summit in Berlin, and I have a good phrase which I ended there as well. Is right now attention is the most precious resource, right? And it has a window. So whenever you see the opportunity next time as a builder, just take the moment and ship it, right? Just don't think about it. You see the opportunity, vibe code it within 1 hour and push it out. And that's the best thing that's happening within the last, let's say, even half a year with the advance on the AI and how fast can you make the product out. You just have to utilize the opportunity. So get ready, prepare yourself, like learn how to vibe code, try building out different things, and when the opportunity comes, just ship it. So that's my closing remark.
Yes, that's one of the best we ever had, BM. Amazing closing remarks and just truth there, just pure truth, 100% undistilled. Your turn, Liam. Go for it.
I'm gonna harp on for all you builders out there, talk to your users, right? And like if you're already talking to your users, talk to more of your users, and if you're already talking to more of your users, talk to even more of your users. I really think it's underrated, like how many users you need to talk to as a founder. Just because it's a numbers game. It's almost like the dating pool, right? Like you just got to put yourself out there. You got to be shameless. And you just got to sit down and really understand what users are looking for and how to build towards that. And for all the users out there and all the traders out there, let's get Rekt together, right? Shoot me a DM, shoot me a message on Telegram or Twitter. I'm usually pretty quick to respond. Just want to get you on the app and start getting your feedback and continuing to build the app for all of you guys. So really appreciate you guys, Maltese and Halo, for hosting us today.
Thank you for being here. Could have been anywhere else, but you're here with us at the Builders Lounge and sharing wisdom. It's been amazing, and your closing remarks are just as good as all the rest of this amazing episode. So, Halo, you said you wanted to leave with a blast. So, what are your closing remarks? I'm really kind of got excited now. The expectation is super high.
Yeah, well, I want to say both of our guests, do you know what they did just now? They led by example. They led by example. BM led by example because that's exactly what he did with Perp.so. He caught the moment, built on top of it, and just basically rolled with it. Liam at the same time, he shared this story about taking calls. That's the most you can go as otherwise you just have to rate your users home. Basically, that's the next step. It's probably illegal, so don't do that. But so what I wanted to say is praise both of these beautiful builders, and also wanted to point out. So one of these builders are building on top of an infrastructure. One of them is building infrastructure. We are building infrastructure. So we need more builders that's build on top of those infrastructures. And what I wanted to say, we here at Carbium are giving out RPC through our partnership program, up to 6 months of free RPC. Just fill out the form. You can test us. We just want to make sure that we can help you to begin your journey, and then you can worry about those other stuff. Just get your users first, and then you can worry about the builds a bit later, So we just want to get you guys off the ground, and that's all gonna be it from me. And it was a wonderful space. So it's a pleasure to have you both guys upstage.
Awesome.
Thank you, Halo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liam. Thank you, BM. Also, BM, thank you for being the guy that, at the 95 minutes, there's a stalemate, and then suddenly you get a penalty, and nobody wants to shoot it, but he just picks up the ball, puts it down, and bags it. That's what you did, That's what you did when you went for the closing remarks. Love you for that, BM. And thank you, Liam, for bringing this wonderful energy. It's been an amazing episode. Hope to see you very soon again at the Builders Lounge, because I know you're going to build even more cool stuff. You're going to want to come back and flex it. And we love you all, and see you soon. And see you next Thursday to everybody listening. On every Thursday, we're here live, and then you can listen whenever you want. Bye bye, everybody. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye
There
bye.
we go. Good discussion.